So a very warm welcome, Morgan and Marike. We are really privileged to have both of you in our campaign and panel discussion for International Women's Day. And we have been following both of your organizations' work, and we really appreciate the work that you're doing in your community. And we would love to know more about all of those work, all of the amazing impact that you're creating in the society. But first of all, and the most important and the most basic question that I would like to start this discussion with is, why according to you is this International Women's Day important? What is the importance of International Women's Day from the point of view of your organizations? Morgan, please.
Yeah, so I would say that International Women's Day is super important because it gives women a space to celebrate themselves. What we have found in our trainings, especially when we have just women, whether it be teenage girls or adult professional women, is that women are not comfortable boasting about what is the best and what's the strongest about them. And so International Women's Day gives a global platform for women to be able to say, this is why, this is who I am, this is what's great about me, not in a boastful way, but just like a this is who I am type of way, and it's great. So I think that that's really why International Women's Day is so important from our perspective here at the Keitt Institute.
International Women's Day for me is all about celebrating women. It's about diversity. I mean, you have men, women, and it's so important to celebrate the women, to keep it on the agenda, because we're far from being gender balanced, let's face it, especially seeing what's going on in the world right now. And Professional Women's Network is all about gender balanced leadership. So for us, it's really high on the agenda to celebrate women, to really celebrate the qualities that women bring to the table, which are different from men.
Wow, I think both of your point of views are quite similar, but still they stand out in a very special way, both for PWN and the Keitt Institute. So thank you so much for sharing all those things. And now I'm even more intrigued about knowing what impact and what work your nonprofits have been doing. So quickly, if you will be able to give a glimpse of the work, the impact that you're creating in the society, that'd be great. So again, starting with who I first see in my screen, Morgan.
Yeah, I think Marike made a really great point about the fact that there are qualities that women bring to the table that are different necessarily than what men are bringing to the table. So some of the work that we do is both helping women learn how to speak about what's best about them. That's an experience we have called Living Strong, where we focus in on giving language, giving practice as it relates to talking about the best of what we bring to the table. But then we also just developed this new experience called Leading from the Inside Out, which really focuses on women using their emotions to their advantage. So a lot of times women are seen as emotional creatures, and that's seen as something that's a negative, when truly it's not. Emotions are signals. Emotions give us clues as to how we're feeling about what's going on. So we really help women understand how to understand their emotions, leverage them, and then use them for positive action and getting the things that they want. So that's the work that we do as it relates to women, is helping them understand you're not emotional because you're a woman, you're emotional because you're a human being. Emotions are part of the human experience, and we want to help you understand how to leverage those to the best of your ability.
Wow, I think I totally agree with you on that, because it's like you said, it's not about being feminine, about having emotions, but you have emotions because you're a human being, and it is good to have emotions because that means that you feel for something, and more emotional you are, the more human you are. So I totally agree with you on that point. I would also like to understand from Marike about the PWN and how does it work, how does it create an impact, and what does it strive to become?
I love what you said, Morgan, and it's very aligned with our approach. So Professional Women's Network in Norway, Professional Network globally, we're here to accelerate gender balanced leadership. And in Norway, we started a program called Conscious Leadership Program. And it's all about how you think, how are you conscious about yourself? And that's what Morgan talks about. Also about what do you stand for? So what is your mission? What are you being called to do? What would you like to bring to the world with your gifts and talents? And then your impact. So what kind of impact can you have? So that's one of the programs we run this year, and we do that through monthly meetings. In addition, we have a book club, where we go through books that support the conscious leadership, so support the monthly meetings. We also have our flagship, which is the Mentorship Program, and super valuable. And there, women become empowered by mentorship. We choose mentors from all over the world. It's gone global since the pandemic, since we've gone online. And this is all about empowering you to become that conscious leader. And we also run local programs in Oslo, so sponsored by Oslo community, for women that come to Norway and are in search of a job, that they can get a job they want and don't have to settle for a job they're actually overqualified to do. Because that happens quite a lot. When women come to a different country, they're in limbo. They need to settle, they need to adapt to the culture, they need to adapt to the language. So that's also why we run the mentorship program in English. So it's very inclusive, and we help them get the network they need by becoming a member of Professional Women's Network, get the context they need, get to understand how to apply for a job, get to understand what kind of language to use and to adapt, but at the same time get the job you're qualified for, because there's so many qualified women out there that are not in the right place. They don't find themselves in the right place simply because they don't get the support they need, and that's what Professional Women's Network is there for, really to support them. Women supporting women, but also being supported by men through men.
Wow, I think that's a very, I would say, unique thing that your organization is doing, a unique way of doing the same thing, like empowering women. It's a very unique way, and I totally agree with your point, because when you say mentorship, what we mean is, what I understand basically is to bring young girls and women up and ahead. We need some women like both of you in the leadership and leading this change, basically, right? So we need someone to guide them that this is the right way, how you can cross that hurdle that you're facing right now, and you can become what you pursue and what you aspire to become. So here, connecting my next question again to this, I think next question suits extremely well to both of your organizations. So like I mentioned, that we need women on the leadership roles, to bring young girls up ahead and climb the ladder and help them mentor through their difficulties. So how can we inspire more women, motivate more women to take on the leadership roles and start their ventures, start their startups, businesses, and stand on the top of the change that we are trying to create?
So I think that what Marike said was so key in terms of women understanding, not only having space for mentorship, but understanding their role and their impact and their purpose. That's all super, super important. Here at the Keitt Institute, we really do think that to support a woman's journey, specifically to senior leadership or to entrepreneurship, they need a safe environment. And so we want to make sure that they're in a space where they can learn about their strengths, their personalities, their emotions, and how to lead authentically. So not lead like someone else, but lead specifically like who you are and who you are designed to be. We think that they need to be able to talk and share and grow and learn in community. Learning happens when you're able to hear and bounce ideas off of other people, especially in a global environment where you can hear how different people from different parts of the world are thinking about and processing the same information, because we all interact, we all experience similar things, but it translates very differently through our cultural lenses, through our gender lenses, through our roles in our families. All of those things are impacting how we experience life. And so to be able to hear the different experiences and then to learn from them and say, you know what, I really liked their approach. I think I'm going to try that the next time, which leads me to my next thing, which is to give them a space to practice, a safe space. I actually am finishing up my master's of e-learning and instructional design. And one of the things that I've learned is that, especially as it relates to the intimate parts of who we are as people. So I'm not really sure about these skills, or I'm not really sure how I want to move forward in this space. We need an opportunity to both learn and then practice kind of without consequence, if you will, to a space to bounce ideas off of each other, to say, hey, let's role play. I need to work this out. I need to see how I might respond in this situation, and then be able to respond appropriately when the time comes. So I think that for women especially, we need that safe space to be able to learn, practice, and then go out into the world and implement what we're learning.
Great. So our takeaway from what Morgan just said is we need to have safe space for all the women, and so that they are able to express themselves, they are able to understand themselves, and self-realization is very, very important. So Marike, what's your take on this? Like how to motivate and inspire women to take on the senior leadership and senior leadership?
About leading by example. Professional Women's Network is a very diverse network. It's from women that are looking for a job, but also from already established leaders. And we see that those that are more established in the role and in the society they're in the country they're in, they can really help those women that have just come to Norway, or that have just are at the start of their career. So it's really, in our organization, women helping women. And it's so beautiful to see that, because when there's, for example, a job opportunity or another opportunity, or people open their network, and that's the one thing. So it also creates a safe space for people to come in. So also to tag on to what Morgan was saying is also very important. And another point is the personal development, which we would like to give as well. It's about staying true to who you are as a woman, and not try to adapt to a man's world, which I've done personally quite a lot in the beginning of my career. And it's really finding who you are, stay true to that, find your calling, and have the courage to also bring that out. Because I know a lot of young women, a lot of young people in general, they have some very clear ideas of how they would like to change the world, want to be a change maker. And to be very clear on that, to be true to that, to come to the core of that and step into that courage. For that, they need role models. For that, they need a mentorship program. For that, they need a safe space. And that's what we would like to provide with Professional Women's Network.
I simply love that answer, Marike. And because safe space is what we have from Morgan. And I think from you, we have great mentorship and lead with the change, right? So now currently we are having two amazing ladies which are doing great in their leadership roles, Morgan and Marike. So I would like to hear from you. What would you like to tell all those young girls and women who are having aspirations, dreams, and they want to fulfill that? So what would be your message to all those young girls and women who want to be the change makers and want to lead this change, like you said?
I was just going to say that I think Marike hit it on the head in understanding and knowing who you are. Authentic leadership is the only way to move forward. You've got to understand who you are, how you think, what makes you tick, and then use that to leverage that to live life the way that you want to live it and to make the change that you want to make. You cannot lead anyone else before you can lead yourself. So once you understand, and you can't lead what you don't know. So I think that the biggest thing for me, specifically for younger women, so teenagers to your early 20s, you have to know you inside and out, up and down. You have to know what you're passionate about, what it is that you want to see happen. And then you need to start making plans to make that happen. But before all of that, if you're not okay, it does not matter how much you want to change the world, you will not be able to do that until you get yourself under control and understand how to best leverage who you are to get that done.
It starts with you, right? It starts with you. If you want to change something, if you want to be a change maker, and a lot of young people would like that, it starts with you. Again, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. That's the saying. Be yourself because everyone else is taken. And I really like that, because people are so unique and everyone is a piece of the puzzle. So use your gifts and talents, even discover your gifts and talents, because most people are not even aware what their so-called superpower is, or what they can bring to the world. And if you think you cannot make a change on your own, just look at Greta Thunberg. I mean, she started off on her own as a climate activist. Just see what movement she has created in the world. So let that be an example. It's just one young lady starting a huge movement in the world. Let her be an example. She was very clear on what she wanted. She had the courage, but also she knew she was going to pull it off. You don't need to know the how, but as long as you have that faith that you are there to make a change and you will pull it off, it will happen. The opportunities will come. So that's my message to young women in general. Just know what you stand for and just go for it.
Thank you so much. I think that was so powerful and so moving that even I'm not a young girl or a young woman, but still I am inspired from what all both of you have said, because clearly it does not have to be gender specific, right? Like the thing that you've mentioned, that you need to understand yourself is applicable to each and every person living in this world. And yes, you truly cannot explore this world if you haven't explored yourself. So thank you so much for giving me that inspiration and that kick. So I think we are moving on to our last question that we have. So here we'll discuss a different aspect of nonprofit organization. We'll talk about the volunteers. So I have talked with a lot of nonprofit organizations, and whenever this question comes up, they all have unanimously said that when it comes to the biggest stakeholder in a nonprofit organization, it has to be the volunteers. Why? Because they are the ones who come with the right intent at their heart to support that cause. Because no single beneficiary, no single non-profit leader can take this initiative up ahead on their own. They need support. They need people with the right intent to back them up. So here we talk about volunteers, and I would like to understand from both of you that how does your non-profit organization interact with these volunteers, and what are several ways that, let's say, a person like me can come up and support your organization?
Yeah, I would say, I think as you were speaking, you hit the nail on the head in terms of coming from a place that you want to support the work that's being done. I'm not sure about how it is around the world, but here in the United States, sometimes, especially when you're dealing with teens or younger people have their own agendas. And so coming to the table with trying to, I can do this because it's going to help me help them, like, versus coming to the table just, I want to help serve this cause. What can I do? So someone like you, especially coming to the Keitt Institute, bring your personal experiences. We have men and women that are sharing on a regular basis how they experience emotion. And we put that out on the internet so that people can understand how different people from different places and different aspects and avenues of life experience all of the range of emotions that exist. Because in order to authentically serve or understand the human emotion experience, you have to see lots of different humans experiencing those emotions. So for us, it's about bringing your authentic self to the table, but it's also about knowing that you're doing this not for yourself, but because you believe in the cause that it is that we're serving, as opposed to trying to backhanded somehow also serve yourself.
I mean, I love what Morgan said. I feel very much the same. It's, if you would like to be a volunteer, just follow your heart. What is it you're called to do? How can you help? Because we all sit on a lot of experience. If it's not, experience, professional experience, it's life experience. I mean, we've all been through hardships and we learned from it. And there's so much we can share on a human level that's very important for all of us to hear. We want to hear your story, and practically, of course, there's a lot you can do as well. Well, I mentioned already one thing, and that's our mentorship program. We really would like more people to join as mentors and lead by example, be the role models and the door openers, and if they would like, of course, share their network with the women that are so desperate, not desperately, but that really want to serve, that really want to become those authentic, conscious leaders that they're seeking to be. And I think Goodera is doing a wonderful job bringing those together, volunteers that do want to do something that is bigger than themselves, and provide that support to organizations like Professional Women's Network in Norway that are really dependent on that support from volunteers. And it's like you said, Pratham, it's people want to give, people, now I lost my trail of thought, it doesn't matter. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy that Goodera is making this happen by bringing the volunteers that will really help our organization serve the women here in Norway.